Okay, so let's jump right in. There's this common trap a lot of founders and inventors fall into. They think that once you file a patent application, that's it, the story's over. You've protected your big idea, time to move on. But for the really smart companies, that initial filing isn't the end of the road at all.
So let me just ask you straight up, is filing your patent the finish line? Is that the moment you can finally lean back, check the box, and just say, we're done? For a long time, people treated it that way, but honestly, that mindset leaves so much value on the table.
Because for the most strategic innovators, that first patent filing, that's actually the starting gun. It's the beginning of a living, breathing strategy that protects your invention not just for what it is today, but for everything it's going to become tomorrow.
So, in this explainer, we're going to break down your patent's next chapter. We'll get into continuations for extending your reach, divisionals for protecting multiple ideas, and CIPs for when you capture new innovations. And then we'll tie it all together into what we call an IP roadmap.
First up, let's talk about continuations. The best way to think about these is as your primary tool for flexibility. I mean, your business isn't static, right? It changes, it pivots, so why should your patent protection be locked in stone? A continuation lets your IP adapt right alongside your company.
So what exactly is it? Well, a continuation is a follow-up application that you have to file before your first patent, the parent patent, is officially granted. Here's the key. It uses the exact same technical disclosure as the original, but, and this is the magic part, it lets you go after new and different claims. Those claims are what define the legal boundaries of your invention.
Here's a great way to picture it. A continuation is like keeping an open door back to your original invention. As your product evolves, or maybe as you see what competitors are doing, you can just step right back through that door and write new claims to protect the features that matter most now.
But, and this is absolutely crucial, there's a trade-off. What you gain is incredible flexibility, the power to adapt, to target competitors, to protect new features. What you don't gain is more time. The patent clock does not reset. A continuation is a strategic tool, not a time machine.
Let's look at that visually, because it's really important. Say you file your parent patent in 2025. Boom. Your 20-year clock starts ticking right then. Even if you file a continuation 3 years later in 2028, both of those patents are going to expire on the exact same day in 2045. They share the same lifespan, period.
So, if you're not getting more time, why bother? Well, strategically, it is a total game changer. A pending continuation keeps your competitors guessing. It lets you build a picket fence of overlapping patents around your core technology. You can even use it to target a specific feature of a competitor's product that comes out later. All of this makes your company way more valuable.
Okay, let's move on to our next tool, divisionals. This one is all about taking something that feels like a setback, a specific kind of rejection from the patent office, and turning it into a huge strategic win.
It all starts with this question. A lot of the time, one great idea is actually made up of several distinct inventions. Maybe you've got some brilliant new hardware, but you've also invented a unique software process to run on it. You put it all in one application, so what happens then?
Well, here's the typical scenario. The patent examiner looks at your application and says, whoa, hold on, you've packed too many different inventions in here. They issue what's called a restriction requirement, and they force you to pick just one of those inventions to move forward with. But here's the beautiful part. You don't just give up on the others, you file a divisional application to protect them.
So instead of seeing this restriction as a problem, you should see it as an invitation. It's your chance to build a layered IP barrier, with separate patents protecting each individual part of your system. This makes it so much harder for anyone to even come close to copying what you've built.
And you've probably guessed it by now, the trade-off here is the same. You gain separate, powerful patents for each invention, creating this amazing layered defense. But again, you don't get any more time. The divisionals patent clock is tied right back to that original parent filing date. No exceptions.
All right, on to our third tool, the continuation in part, or CIP. Now, this is the one you pull out when your technology doesn't just mature, it really evolves. It's for when you've made genuine, substantial improvements long after you filed your first patent.
So a CIP is pretty unique. It's the only one of these three where you can actually add new matter. That's new technical information that just wasn't in your original patent. It's a bridge. It lets you protect your new improvements while, and this is huge, letting you keep the original filing date for all the old stuff.
Okay, this is where things get a little tricky, but it's super important.
A CIP basically creates two different patent clocks inside a single patent. Anything that was in the original application, that's tied to the parent's filing date. But any claims based on the new material, they get their own fresh 20-year terms starting from the CIP's filing date. It's powerful, but yeah, it's also more complex.
So with the CIP, the big gain is protection for new improvements, which is awesome for fast-moving tech. The trade-off? Well, you lose that simple, single expiration date. And you're not resetting the clock for your original invention. It's a strategic mix of old and new patent terms.
Okay, let's pull all this together now. We've gone through continuations, divisionals, and CIPs, but how do you actually use them? Well, you stop thinking about patents as these static, one-and-done documents. You start building an IP roadmap, and you turn your patents into a dynamic business weapon.
And if you only remember one thing from all of this, please make it this. Your 20-year patent clock starts ticking on day one, the moment you file. It never stops, and you can't get that time back. Every single decision you make from that point on shapes the real-world value you get out of your protection.
So a smart IP roadmap is really built on a few core ideas. Timing is everything. You have to align your filings with business milestones, not just legal deadlines. You want to build a layered patent family using all these tools we've discussed. And you have to avoid the idle patent trap by always trying to keep one application pending. It gives you options. And most of all, your R&D, product, and IP strategies can't live in separate worlds. They have to be one coordinated effort.
Ultimately, it all boils down to this one number, 20. You only get 20 years from that very first filing. That time is finite, and it's incredibly precious. A proactive strategy is all about making every single one of those years count.
And this really sums up the whole mindset shift. An intelligent patent strategy isn't about reacting to what an examiner says or what a competitor does. It's about anticipating where the market is going, how your product will evolve, and using your patent portfolio to get there first.
So I'll just leave you with this final question to think about. Look at your own IP. Right now, is it just a static document sitting in a folder somewhere, its value just slowly ticking away? Or is it a dynamic weapon, actively managed and constantly adapting to protect your business and help you win? The choice really is yours.